All right. So in this video, as promised, I'm going to be explaining to how to run the pipeline and fully run the pipeline and also partially run the pipeline as well. Now, this is the same pipeline that we have created with minor alterations just to demonstrate a couple of features that are still available. Now, as explained before, when you have these system source cards, you need to be providing what are the information about the repository or the repositories that you want to analyze of the microservice system. Now, there, for example, if you have a microservice system with, let's say, 10 repositories, and if you want to partially analyze the only 5 of them, obviously you could add only the information of 5 of those repositories here using these add repositories. Now, for this example, I'll only use a monorepo, which is which the train ticket microservice system uses. Now, let's take train ticket as an example, and I'll provide those information here. For example, the repository would be this, and let's say I want to analyze at this particular commit, and that's all the information that you need to provide. Now, given that information, you can completely run this entire pipeline without providing any more details at all. Now, if you want to run the entire pipeline right now, you just need to click on the run pipeline. Now, this will run the pipeline one card at a time in a sequential manner. But since we have two processes, two pipelines that are very parallel to each other, those will actually run in parallel as well. So you might notice before we've started running the pipeline, some of these cards are kind of darkened. But once the data are available or the cards are ready to move on with the next process, it will actually get highlighted with the features that are available to those cards. Now, for example, in here, we've seen that these cards get lit up, which means now we have generated the intermediate representation. The IR is stored in this card. We are ready to visualize the SDG and its features. We've performed the formula verification, and the formula verification is also ready for visualization. The component generation is also done. The components are ready to visualize. But now these 3 cards are currently unavailable. And that's intended. Why? Because now we have the components created here. But when it comes to scenario generation, this has to be very selective. A user might need to generate testing scenarios for all the distributed parts, or might want to generate scenario test cases and also test scenarios correspondingly only for selected set of scenarios. So in that case, we don't the tool doesn't execute these cards or the scenario generator immediately, but would wait for more user inputs. So these are the partial pipeline executions that I was talking about. Now, when a card component is containing the component information, the endpoint information, you could start running the scenario generator and any subsequent card using these play buttons here. Now, what it does, for example, see now these 3 lit up, 2 lit up, in fact. Now, what the scenario generator has actually done is to take the information that are available here, since this is the only link that are available here, take it as an input and basically execute the scenario generation. Now, as you could see, there are 371 distributed parts in train ticket, and all these are the different scenarios that we have generated. Now, and this is indiscriminate. Now, these checkboxes are basically um, to indicate what scenarios that we want to, or the user wants to generate the LLM prompts for, and subsequently the test cases for. But now, as I mentioned, if you want to do it selectively, you could deselect all and select manually select what are the test cases you want to generate the prompts and subsequently the tests for. Now that would basically mean, right? That would basically mean you have generated separate or selectively generated LLM prompts, and therefore test suites as well. Now, in each of these cards, for example, if you want to download the prompts separately and maybe test it out on multiple different LLMs, you could, if you want to do that manually, you could basically download it here and generate manually, or you can just change the different available from the available set of LLMs to generate these test cases. Now, once you have actually done them, you could execute the test case generation using the LLMs, and once that is available, you get the test suite as a collection in a zip file, which is downloadable as well. Now, these would be Java files or Java classes that are actually contained in the different test cases. Now, I did mention that in the previous video that some of these results and the cards can be linked together. Now, my example was that formula verification could be linked up with a scenario generator, so that we target the scenario generation and the test suite generation based on the results that we have from the formula verifier. So we are basically going to be generating validation tests for them. Now, if we have this sort of link here, now if we now run scenario generation, you would see only 3 scenarios has been generated, and these are corresponding to the 3 entry points or the distributed paths that the formula verifier has identified to be containing inconsistent authorization policies. Now, once we have that, you could see that we could run the LLM prompt to see there are 3 prompts ready, each corresponding to the 3 different scenarios. And now we also have, once we execute the test suite generation, we will basically have a set of test cases. Yeah, we have 3 test classes for to basically validate the findings from the formula verification as well. Now, these are some of the features on how to fully run the pipeline and also to partially run the pipeline as well.